Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I got a review for you today by request from my dude, Jose Salas Maltas. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm going to put it right here with the magic of editing. I'm sorry I mispronounced it, but my dude Jose asked for a review, and we're going to be talking about Aliens. I wasn't clear about which series you wanted me to review, but so I'm going to go with the current one. The downside on Aliens is each one of them has no like written name. It's just Alien and then a number one. They're like 5-issue mini arcs, I guess you can say. 4 issues, something like that. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe on this guy's channel. It does help. The interaction is why I'm doing this. Hit the bell. You never know when I'm going to be dropping reviews. But let's get into it. I'm going to try and do 2 issues. We're going to cover 1 and 2. So let's start with 1. Basically, there's not too much different from every like xenomorph story that I've ever read. I am enjoying all the new Marvel Alien stuff, but it's kind of run-of-the-mill stuff. There hasn't been anything extraordinary. But basically we are starting off on this, let me make sure it's Ice Moon LV695. And we're just basically showing the scene of these frozen like aliens, the xenomorphs. There's not a whole lot of clarity at first. They do show you multiple pictures, but basically it's like a big cavern that's on this moon where all these xenomorphs are frozen. There's basically a team of 3 that are on this like scientific exploration thing. It kind of sounds familiar, right? The basis is that there's a team and their ice has become a precious like commodity, and this is, you know, that once you follow these series, they do kind of, you know, put the timeline in there, and I want to say this is like 4,000 years after Ripley, something like that. Don't quote me, but we're in the future. Far past Ripley, basically. But at this point, ice has become a high-end commodity. So we're with our science team. We find out our science team is basically a family that's maintaining this like station, and they're just basically, you know, digging in the ice. It is a scientific team. It's a mom, a dad, and a daughter. It's Dayton, Yasha, and the mom is Baton Zahn, the Zahn family. While they're digging for ice, that's when they come across the aliens. They end up finding a face hugger, and they don't know what it is, but the dad kind of acts a little strange at first, hinting that he does know what's going on. They do get that specimen and they take it back. It's like a block of ice, and they take it back to the space station. The daughter, you know, kind of explaining to the mom that they did find something in the ice. After scanning the specimen, once it gets back to the facility, the mom basically just, you know, kind of, once she scans it, it basically hits a whole bunch of like databases and stuff like that. And of course, as soon as she like puts it online, there's a company and it's shown, you know, picking up the same signals as she's sending them. And of course, we know who it's in. It's always Weyland-Yutani Company. Or the Weyland-Yutani Company. It's changed a couple times, but basically the Weyland Corporation. But they have picked up the signal, and, you know, they got a full scan of this thing. It wasn't like they got a picture or some kind of missed data. Nope, you know, they know it's a face hugger, so of course they're on their way to retrieve or locate what this is. The family doesn't know what it is. The scientist's mom and the daughter don't. But the dad starts kind of making a big deal, and it's kind of, you know, right here, as you can see, the dad's kind of upset, but it's kind of revealed that the mom already, like, sent out the data. The dad was kind of hesitant about it. Oh, you don't know what's going to happen, no, 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 no. That's when he kind of reveals that before, I guess he was married, that he has had some kind of knowledge, but it came from, like, a database or something like that. I think it was, like, you know, a he said, she said story, and then he looked it up kind of thing. They do show the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, and I'm going to keep saying that. I don't know if that's right. But they keep showing them getting closer to the planet. They do show a couple ominous scenes with the cavern and the xenomorphs, and basically because they disturb the atmosphere, they're kind of, you know, waking up. But back at the facility, it's basically family, and they're talking about like, oh, we got to do something. The dad, he ends up getting mad and kind of leaves. But before he can, of course, a military cruiser shows up, a big sucker. All of a sudden, at this point during the story, the family have been waiting for like I think they've been waiting 6 months for somebody to come and relieve them. It's supposed to be in sets. That's usually how it is on these facilities. And they thought it was kind of weird that the Wayland, company showed up like instantaneously, like that day they got the message. And of course, when they show up, they blast the way in. They give no fucks. They're trying to make it to the specimen. We end up meeting this suited guy right here, and his name is Wendell Thin. Wendell Thin basically asking for the specimen. We learned that the company that the mom was working for doing the scientific research has recently been bought by the Wayland Corporation. The second, she put that message out, Wayland was like, oh, that company? Oh yeah, we're going to buy it. So now basically everything at the space station is already theirs. So they're just showing up to try and get what's theirs. The family is kind of like in disbelief at first. Of course, I already told you the dad was kind of mad. He takes it out on this Wendell guy, but with all the soldiers and stuff, it's kind of like a false. He basically gets arrested, and he ends up getting taken back to the ship. At this point, the daughter ends up kind of disappearing. She ends up, hiding in the tunnels. They kind of show it right here, and she's kind of slipping away because Wendell's paying more attention to the mom. She ends up grabbing the specimen, and she heads into some other tunnels. And it's basically the last couple of scenes we see in this book is basically Wendell trying to, talk to the mom and explain that, hey, if you give us a specimen, we'll let you keep doing your research kind of thing. Your research is like a plus to the Wayland Corporation. And that's kind of it, it's the daughter running away with the specimen. The very last thing that they show us in this is when she popped the specimen, she kind of like cut a little bit, and there was a little bit of acid that sprouted, and now the face hugger is physically getting out of the block, and that's where this issue leaves us off with. But don't worry, I got the second issue right here, and just like where it ends us off, it shows the face hugger coming out of the backpack. This issue, it's pretty much the company is trying to find the daughter. We get a bigger picture of the cavern that's down there, but there's a reason for it, because they try to, of course, this is the Wayland Corporation. They're trying to extract the xenomorphs. They get this rig, like a harness rig that was already there. They trying to drill down there or pull it up, and it ends up falling down. As it falls down, that's when we get the big picture, the reveal of what's down there. And of course, it's a massive stockpile of xenomorphs now that they're, it's not frozen no more, and everything's out in the open. So all these soldiers, they know what they're up against, but they thought they were frozen kind of thing. So instantly it's a matter of get your stuff, get the hell out of here kind of thing. We're not prepared for this kind of thing. We do catch up with Sasha is her name, the daughter, but Sasha's still managing to get through the tunnels and stuff. The guards are the Marines. They're set up at checkpoints. Eventually we do get a guard that manages to get a hold of her. She does manage to escape because he ends up seeing the face hugger that's coming out of the bag, and he gets all weirded out. He takes a step back, but as he does that, guess what? And the face hugger saw him and jumps, grabs on, you know what a face hugger does, right? He collapses. She ends up running away. She gets all weirded out that the thing was unfrozen in her backpack because she wasn't aware of that yet, which I kind of find that a little strange. Something moving around in your backpack, you gonna feel it, especially a face hugger that's bleeding acid at the same time. Okay. So at this point, we got the aliens doing what they do best, right? The Marines are trying to get back to the ship. It ain't working down. The aliens, they massively go through most of the captured, workers that they had, which there wasn't that many. But as you can see, the aliens are doing their thing. It's mass, they're going from one car to the next, just, chomping on every human that they can. They've been frozen. Now it's party time for the aliens. We have the dad, and he's basically back in the brig. There's not too much that goes on there. Most of this is, conversation with the mom and Wendell, and trying to get the information about where the daughter is. We do this, we get some unsanctioned, research from you, kind of thing. It's the same stuff that they were talking about in the first issue. We do get another group of Marines. They go in there and they find the guard that was supposed to be posted at the door. He had alerted them that he found the daughter, but when they get there, of course, he's already comatose. The facehugger's already ran off somewhere in the room, but of course, you know what happens next, right? Because the facehugger's dead. Yep, the chest buster busts out, and they try and take the chest buster out. It doesn't work. As they're trying to take him out, of course, they're not paying attention, but they end up, bullets into some flammable, stuff, and of course it explodes. We are not shown whether the chest buster, because where they were firing, the chest buster was right there, so he might be dead, but we don't know. But it don't matter, because there's a ton of aliens still running around the outside of the compound, and as you can see with the explosion, the facility just, half the facility, I have to imagine, just blew up, or a big portion of it. But they show you outside that the aliens are going nuts, and that's where they leave this issue off at. And it hasn't really kind of told us whether the mom and the daughter, I'm pretty sure they're still in the facility, so the ship is still there, but that's kind of where they leave us off at. We don't know, I don't know. That's all we got. But that is my review of the first 2 issues of this mini arc. Now, Jose, I wasn't positive if this was the arc that you wanted me to talk about, because like I told you, I think this is the 5th arc that they've done with this ongoing alien thing, because there is a title to the book inside the book, but on the outside it just says alien and 1, 2, 3, 4, however many are in the series. On the inside of the book, once you get to the splash page giving us like the writer and the artist and stuff like that, like this one's called Thaw. There is like a sub-name inside, but it's really just what the arc is called and stuff. And there is an ongoingness. Each issue gives you like, from Ripley, all the way to here. And Marvel's Predator is doing the same thing. It gives you like a lowdown of all the events before that issue or whatever. But hey, that's my review. These are my thoughts. So far, I've loved every single thing Xenomorph and Marvel so far. But those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts. What are you digging? You liking the series? Man, I'm loving the art. But like I said, the story's not the greatest. It's not the perfect Xeno. I haven't read that yet. Hey, but that's all I got for you. I will let y'all go. Y'all be good out there. I'll see y'all later.